Yo, what's up everyone, I am Spence, and today we're doing our Godzilla Battleline video. And today, got something a little bit different for you guys. So, let me give you the backstory about this video. I was scrolling through YouTube and I discovered this YouTuber named The Boomer Zoomer. Smallish YouTuber, but he made these really interesting and good videos on Mount Rushmores for superheroes and superhero villains and anti-heroes, stuff like that. If you don't know what I mean by Mount Rushmore, ChatGPT officially describes it as a metaphor that refers to the four most iconic, influential, or foundational figures in that genre. And I decided, because we've had GBL for years now, I think we have enough history to make an official GBL Mount Rushmore 2 based on those same requirements. And yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, a GBL Mount Rushmore, just the four most pioneering units in the game. Only units, not talking about leaders or including them at all. We are just going to be selecting the four greatest GBL units pretty much. May not be the best, may not be the most meta relevant now, but the founding fathers of the game pretty much. And of course, there will be a little bit of my bias because there just has to be. So yeah, let's get shit started. So, for my very first pick of my GBL Mount Rushmore, I don't think this will be that controversial, and I think it's the most obvious pick. We got Godzilla 1989. He is the George Washington of this game. There is no GBL without GA9. He was a beta launch unit. He has never ever been buffed that I know of. I've been playing this game since day one, so I might have missed something, but I don't think he's ever been buffed. I think he's the only original unit to never be buffed. And yeah, he's been unchanged. He is the face of this game. He was a part of several metas back in the day, back in the beta and season 1. Mothra Lead had a very broken ability, still has the heal, but it basically made GA9 immortal. So yeah, that was a meta he was a part in. He was also a part of the Gigan Rush meta back in May, like season 10ish, I think it was. Don't remember, it's been a while. He's been a part of a couple metas. He's always been somewhat relevant. I'd argue who's the first like great S tier unit in the game before we got all the power creep. And he's just always been relevant. He's always going to be the poster guy of this game. And I just don't see a GBL without GA9, honestly. He's also been the inspiration, I'm pretty sure, for a lot of units we have. Like Orga, Beast Glove Kong, very similar, single target, beefy powerhouse units that only target ground. And yeah, they're never going to replace GA9. They might be better, but they're never going to replace him. I don't think he's ever going to be D or F tier in this game. He might get close, but I think GA9 is always going to be somewhat relevant. And that's why I think he's earned a spot in the Rushmore. He's just too influential to not include. So, for the next unit on the Mount Rushmore, I also don't think this one will be that controversial, but there's always people that'll disagree with me. And we got the late, and not as great as he was before, Godzilla Ultima. And I will not be the one talking about him, because I know a very special man who loves Godzilla Ultima more than his wife. And that man is Sir Melee himself. So yeah, got him to do this segment. Huge shout out to him. Really appreciate him. Yeah, take it away, buddy.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Godzilla Battleline video. And today we're doing the Mount Rushmore of Godzilla Battleline characters for Spencezilla. Thank you, Spence, for having me on. Now, it is my humblest of duties to present to you the GOAT himself for Mount Rushmore. Boom. Godzilla Ultima. One of the most cracked units this game has ever seen. And I don't want to hear, oh, you know, Rio is so good, Kumo Augment is so good, Zeton is so good. Godzilla Ultima, the OG GOAT of Godzilla Battleline. I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take you on a trip. June 2021. We're sitting peacefully. It's the first day of the global launch of Godzilla Battleline. You log in. Who is the banner character? Who is the banner character for the very first inaugural season of Godzilla Battleline? Boom. Godzilla Ultima. You go start tabbing through the characters. Oh my god, I want to use all these characters. Who is the first character with 100 range in the game? Boom. Godzilla Ultima. The absolute GOAT. He was running the meta all the way until the Ultraman season. I mean, even a little bit past the Ultraman season, if we're being completely honest. They did nerf this guy not once, but twice to try to get him out of the meta. And you know what? They haven't adjusted his health or his damage, and he's kind of fallen by the wayside. You're not really seeing him a lot in play on the field. But you would be wrong if you thought he'd never come back, because my GOAT is a top 5 leader in the game in 2025. A day one, a launch character, a day one, year one character is a meta leader in 2025. 4 years. Literally 4 years after he was released, he is still incredibly relevant. Insane range. He lets you put out a ton of spells all the time. You get a great defense. He's single target, but he's like boom, 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 boom. He's got everything. He's the whole freaking package, man. I mean, listen, I'm even gonna glaze Pelops, man. He's the transition on the freaking channel. We use boom, Pelops. Ultima's goated. He's everywhere. I love Godzilla Ultima. He is absolutely the best character in the entire game, and I would be more than thrilled if he was the headliner of the Mount Rushmore. He's like the George Washington on the Mount Rushmore. He's the original GOAT. I don't know, you got Abe Lincoln on the monument. You got Teddy Roosevelt on the monument. Teddy Roosevelt on the Washington on the Mount Rushmore. I don't even know. Abe Lincoln's on there for sure. Abe Lincoln, he's like new gen, right? But we're going way back. George Washington, the original GOAT, number 1. If George Washington, number 1 OG, is on Mount Rushmore, then boom, Godzilla Ultima belongs on Mount Rushmore. That is my pitch for why he should be on the Mount Rushmore of GBL characters. Thank you so much for having me, Spence.
I agree with everything that man just said, but I did forget to tell him that we are not talking about leaders, just the units, but oh well, he's still glazed. And he also told me to include that Ultima Lead just won the 2nd GBL championship. Again, that's his lead, but Ultima deserves the glaze. It's his milestone. So yeah, big thanks to Melee again. Great segment by him. And now, this is where it's going to definitely get controversial. There's a lot of good picks to pick from here. But this is for the OGs out there. A lot of new players especially will disagree with this. For my 3rd pick on the Mount Rushmore, it's Batra. So you might be thinking, Batra right now, he's like B tier at best. He's pretty mid. Still a little relevant, but he's pretty mid. Let me tell you the story of how Batra ran the game for 2 entire years. So, if I'm remembering correctly, back in Season 8, Batra got an insane buff. The most game-breaking buff we've ever seen, arguably. It shot him from C tier to S tier. I'm pretty sure the buff was increased his damage boost duration from like 5 seconds to I think it was like 25 seconds. And overall gave him a lot better stats too, and decreased his evo time heavily, and it made Batra Larva slower. So yeah, his evo time was 40 seconds before, and it went to 25. So yeah, he was the best unit in the game by far for over a year, and then he was by far a top 5 unit and still creeping on number 1 for another year. For 2 entire years, for half of GBL's history, Batra was the best unit in the game. He was a part of the 5-cost Flyers meta. He was an absolute pioneer in that. And that meta went for 2 years. It only got dethroned by the bomb meta with when Sachiel and Burning Godzilla dropped. But Batra was still a top 10 unit in that meta too. Batra's history in the game is so insane when you compare it to other units. The only other unit with this longevity, I'd argue, is Biolante. But Biolante never ran the game like Batra did. I was actually thinking about putting Biolante in this spot too, but Batra definitely earned it more than her. So yeah, Biolante might have been kind of a cornerstone in this game for the whole history, but Batra dominated the game for over half the history. That just can't be ignored. But yeah, there's not much else to say really. I'm trying to see how I can describe it so you'd understand me for the new players out there. Let's put it in modern day terms. Let's pretend Rio, the old Rio, unnerfed Rio went unnerfed for 2 years. That's what we had to deal with back in the day. It was insane. You either ran Batra or you lost. Moths were the absolute shitters back then. And yeah, that's why Batra deserves a spot. He's also the first unit with an on-spawn damage boost. He's also one of the original Evos for the game. He is a beta day 1 unit. Definitely inspired a lot of units as well. Definitely inspired a lot of the moths, a lot of the damage boosters. And yeah, just his history and influence just cannot be understated. It is insane how good Bachelor was back then. But he is kind of mid now, so that takes him down a little bit. That's why, if he was still good, he'd 100% be the number one in this Mount Rushmore. It's not ranked or anything, but I'm just saying, I definitely will talk about him first. But yeah, that's why Bachelor is absolutely deserving a spot in this Rushmore. So now, before I review my fourth and final pick for the Rushmore, I'm just going to rack off some honorable mentions real quick. Biolante, said before. Then we got Anguirus, Dimension Tide, Godzilla Earth. Ooh, you know, I was really contemplating putting Godzilla Earth on here. He definitely would have been the next one after this. Now after Godzilla Earth, Sachiel. Who else? You know, I think that's all the honorable mentions I can think of off the top of my head. I don't think anyone else is even close to this. You know, let's throw in normal Kamakuras as well. They're pretty up there too as an OG GOAT. But yeah, now it's time to get controversial for my final pick in the Mount Rushmore. You're gonna scream bias, but I got my reasons, and I'm picking Desghidorah, my GOAT himself. So let me break it down for you, Mark. Desghidorah is added in Season 5, and he was the first and only, as of now, All-Star Battle exclusive unit. On his release, no one knew if he was good or not. But let me tell you, if people had the levels on him, he would have ran the meta. He was the first unit ever to be introduced with Pierce. He was the first unit to have an on-spawn stun and on-spawn damage with burn. He was a flyer at the time and one of the first Ghidorahs to be added for all the other shitters came in after KG91. And not only that, Desghidorah has been a part and arguably been the best unit in two completely different metas, which is completely unheard of for every single other unit. I think Earth would be the only one because of his buffs. Yeah, Desghidorah, he has not been unchanged. He got a buff in, I think, Season 28, which made him, because he was falling a little bit, but he was always relevant. He was always solid. It made him even better. Definitely a meta pick. And then Desghidorah got another big, juicy buff in the Chibi season, I think it was. Don't quote me on that. I kind of forgot which season he got the buff. And, you know, it might have been after the Chibi season. Maybe during, like, slightly before the GXK units. I think that's when he got his really juicy buff where he got 90 range. And when he got that 90 range, he completely dominated the game like it was the good old days again. Oh my god, it was beautiful to see. If you weren't there, oh boy, you should have. That shit was peak for me considering I Gmad that fat ass. Actually, I'm trying to think. You know, it might have been closer to Season 40 when he got that buff. Maybe like, it's between 35 and 40. But yeah, after that range buff, when he got 90 range, he ran the entire game again. He probably ran the game for a total of a little over a year, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, that's why I think Desghidorah deserves to be on here. The same arguments can be said for Earth, but Desghidorah was the very first unit to have piercing. And I just think that's a lie in this game, considering how many units have piercing now. He was the grandfather of the Pierce. And, hey, I did say my bias would be in here. He is my GOAT. So, hey, do what you will with that. But I think Desghidorah is very deserving of being the fourth pick on the Mount Rushmore. Could very easily see something like Biolante or Earth replacing him in yours. But that's what I think of mine. I just think he's way too influential to not include in this. And yeah, well, that is my Mount Rushmore. We got GA9, Ultimate, Bachelor, and Desghidorah. Some OG units. They have to be OG in my opinion to be on here. Like, I don't know, I was going with that, but yeah. That is it. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this and what your Mount Rushmore would be. Always open to hearing your opinions. I love responding to you guys when I'm on the shitter. And yeah, well, hope you enjoyed. See you next time.